Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to spend a couple minutes with you today and help you to understand exactly what needs to happen in order for you to automate an online sales funnel. So the big question is this: how is a tiny percentage of entrepreneurs blow the pack away? What are they doing that we're not? I asked myself that question for 10 years. I was failing forward and getting sick of it. I wanted to build a coaching business, but couldn't make any headway. So I started studying them. I realized that the world's most elite marketers, entrepreneurs, and gurus were all using the same 4-step system. I call it the authority factor. On the show, I'm going to prove to you that the authority factor worked for them and it'll work for you. My name is Ken Dunn. Let's get started. So, hey, this is going to be like a super transparent little conversation we're going to have here. I've been running my own coaching business for over a decade and made millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I've helped thousands of people to do the same. But you know what? As I was sitting here this morning and I was thinking, what's been the hardest part of the journey overall in everything that has to do with coaching? And it didn't take me a second to think about the fact that it's automation. It's automating a webinar. So listen, if you're running any type of coaching business whatsoever, you're going to be doing some type of online workshop or webinar. It's a webinar, but nobody likes to call it that anymore because there seems to be some type of negative connotation. But regardless of whether or not you call it a workshop or a webinar or an online training, essentially you're getting a whole bunch of people to join you on Zoom so you can walk them through a training that will show them how to do something. And at the end of the training, you're going to sell them an online program of some sort. Probably an online course. That's the smartest thing to do in the world. Now, the dream with everybody who goes down this road is to automate it. Could you imagine what life would be like if you were running ads on Facebook and YouTube, and those ads 24 hours a day were getting people to go to your sales funnel, to sign up to go to your webinar, and then the second they sign up, it gives them 3 different times to watch. They can watch now, they can watch in 5 hours, or they can watch in 10 hours, whatever fits their schedule, and then they watch the training, but the training is recorded. It's not really you there at the moment, but it's because you did the original recording when you were live, it feels live. People watch the training and they buy your program. If that system was in place for you right now, how much would you spend per day? You'd spend as much as humanly possible. Because in the world of automated webinars, you literally can expect 3 to 4x on the money you have in ad spend. That's what the role is. That's what you should expect if you're doing this properly. But unfortunately, there are a boatload. There's a boatload of gurus out there right now that are going to lure you into their trainings by telling you, let me show you how to build an online course and sell an online course and automate an online course. And they're going to try and get you there and sell you a program, and they're going to make it sound like it's so freaking easy to automate. And I'm going to call bullshit on that right now. It is not easy. It is the hardest thing you're ever going to be in front of in your business, but don't worry. It's not going to stop you from making millions and millions of dollars and helping people. You're just going to have to get used to doing a live workshop on a regular basis. So let me give you a bit of the background first. When you first start building a workshop, when you first start building an online product, like an online course, you get your course built, then you're going to build your slide deck out. And when you build out that slide deck, you're going to follow somebody's training. You're going to follow somebody's system to do it. There's lots of different workshop styles. I use about 4 different styles. I use Russell Brunson's perfect webinar style. I use the 5 misbeliefs style. I use a live whiteboard style where I don't use slides at all. They all work. It's whatever you're most comfortable with. And more importantly, it's whatever sells the most. That's what you have to figure out. So if you're going to do this, if you're going to launch a webinar, get it to the point where it's automated like I just described so that people are buying it around the clock, here's what you're actually going to have to do. Step 1 is to build the product. Step 1A of the building process is make sure, for gosh sakes, make sure that whatever product you're building, that it addresses a pain point that somebody has, that it addresses a problem that somebody has. Don't be one of the loser coaches who never hears this or thinks that their magical potion is so mystical to people that they can call it whatever they want and people will buy it. Wrong. You're going to fail. You've got to address an issue that people are currently struggling with to get their attention. So then once you do that, you're going to get people you're going to build your course out. And then once you get it done, you're going to build a webinar slide deck. Now, on this channel, in this show, there are lots of trainings you can find about how to build a webinar slide deck. But here's a little bit of an overview. In a webinar slide deck, in your webinar, in your live workshop, what you actually have to do is build trust with people. So you've got to make people believe that you know what you're talking about and that you are qualified to teach them. You have to prove that your system that you're teaching them makes it easier than what they've tried before. Russell calls it a new vehicle, but that's really essentially what you're doing is you know that everybody who showed up to your workshop has tried it at some time in the past. So you've got to structure your training so that it feels like something different to them. It feels like something different. And if you succeed in doing that, they're automatically going to be able to blame their lack of success in solving that thing on all the other stuff they tried because they didn't know your system before. That's really what you want to do. Now, you can use trial closes during your workshop. That's where you get people to say yes over and over again. Like, hey, type yes in the chat right now if you're having a good time listening to me right now. That's a trial close. And when you hear people doing that over and over again, the theory is if you get people to do trial closes 8 or 10 times during a workshop, they're more likely to buy because you got them in the habit of saying yes. So you got to do your trial closes. But at the end of the day, if people will buy, if they have the problem you're helping them solve and they see in your training that your system that you're presenting them with is going to make it easier and faster and they believe they can do it. And then at the end of your workshop, you invite them to join your course. You tell them the price, you show them what's included, and you build a stack of bonuses so that the value, the retail value of the package is 10 times more than what you're going to actually sell. So that's your workshop. That's how the slides are. Like I said, there's lots of other shows on this channel that go into that in more detail. Once you get that done, now you got to start driving traffic and getting people to show up to your workshop. So if you're advanced and you have an email list, you can start trying to do this through an email list with your warm audience. But most of you are going to have to start running some type of paid ads to get people to show up. Again, look through these videos on this channel. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, look through these videos. If you're watching this on Facebook, then I'm going to give you a link to the YouTube channel so you can check it out. If you're listening to this on the podcast, go into the notes and check out the YouTube channel. Because on the YouTube channel, like everything I'm talking about is broken down into a series of videos. It's all sitting there waiting for you. So once you get to the point that you've got ads running, here's just the basic metrics. You want to get somebody to sign up for your workshop, and Facebook should charge you somewhere between $2 and $8. It used to be a lot more narrow. You used to be able to do it for like $1 or $2, but with iOS 14 and everything else, it's changed. But $2 to $8 is still a very reasonable range. Now, once they sign up, you've got to have emails in place and text messages in place to keep them warmed up and sending the messages from when they sign up to come and when your event is actually taking place. If you do that right, then 30 to 40% of the people who sign up for your workshop should show up live. Once you get them there, then you start using your slide deck. Now, here's how you know if your slide deck is working properly. From the beginning of the workshop till when you start to pitch. So that's the beginning of phase 3. The 3 phases of a workshop. Number 1, the first phase is building trust and eliminating doubt. The second phase is adding value. The third phase is pitching your offer. So when you get to that third phase, if your workshop is working properly, then 90% of the people should still be there. That's when you know that's working. Once you get to that phase, if you've got 90% of the people there, if your pitch works, then 10% of those people should actually buy your product, your service, your course, whatever you're selling in your pitch. Once you get to those metrics, $2 to $8 to sign up, 30 to 40% of people to show up, 90% of people to stay to the pitch, 10% of those people to buy, then you know you've got a system that's working. And now you're ready to start thinking about automation. So the first step in automation is once you've gotten to all of those metrics working, you've had 10% of people show up, you know that 60% of the people that signed up didn't actually show up live on the workshop. So what you do is whenever you're doing your workshop every week, you got to record them. You take the recording down from Zoom and you load it up into whatever software that you're using for your workshops. I use ClickFunnels because it's the only one that has everything in one place. And you create a replay room. Then you start sending out emails to everybody who missed the workshop. And you start telling them, hey, sorry you missed the workshop. We've got a replay live. It's going to be live for 3 days. You got to make sure you put fear of loss in it and you tell them to watch it. And you have the video there for them to see whenever it's comfortable for them, plus a link to buy the product. Now, you want to start testing. This is how you're going to know if your workshop has the potential to work in automation. It's if you sell in the replay. If nobody buys in the replay, but you got 10% of people to buy live, then what that likely tells you is that you weren't communicating effectively. So let me talk about that for 1 minute. When you're doing a workshop, if your goal is to automate that workshop, then you have to remember that you can't make any reference to the time of day, the day of week, the season, the things that are going on, the environment around you, political things. You've got to eliminate everything from your vocabulary. I'll give you an example. On your live workshop, if you say something like, hey, I'm really super excited that you guys have all joined me here at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. I didn't expect a lot of people to show up now, but I'm really happy you did. Or, hey, is everybody ready for Christmas? It's only 3 weeks away. Or, I hope you guys managed to remember to get something for your mom. Mother's Day is a month away. See, friends, that's what happens. You think you're doing the right thing because you're building trust with people and you want to make it conversational. So the easiest thing to do is to talk about something that's happening in your environment. But if you do that, you'll never be able to automate your webinar. Because when somebody's watching it later on and we get into a platform where it's going to work, they're not going to buy if you're telling them it's recorded. They're not going to buy if you're using language that makes them feel like this actually happened 6 months ago, right before Christmas. So you got to get in the habit of that right up front. So the most important rule about doing workshops of any sort is never, ever tip your card about the time, the date. Make sure all your language is generic. You can still have it be really engaging and you can still see how it works and keep it really, really generic. If you guys want to check this out, the live workshop I'm doing right now is called the Auto Content Loop. I'm showing people exactly how to build a following online and publish content all over social media and completely automate it. And the link is down below this show, kendunn.com/content automation. That's a live workshop. Come to that workshop and actually watch the way I'm performing, the way I'm presenting. Notice how I never make any reference to the time of day, but it's still engaging and people still buy. All right. So how do you automate? Well, when you get this working properly, if you get the same amount of sales from your replay as you do from your live event, once you get to 10% of the sales, or the same number, because it's really hard to tell the percentage, but let's say you do $10,000 when you do your workshop live and you do another $10,000 in the replay, then that recording is where you start testing in automation. Now, there are 100 different automation platforms out there that you can use right now. I am a big fan of WebinarFuel, and I put a link to WebinarFuel in the notes so you can check it out. WebinarFuel was created by somebody for a reason. Anthony Morrison is the founder of WebinarFuel. He makes hundreds of millions of dollars online in his digital marketing business, and he makes most of that money through automated webinars. He was trying Webinar Jam and all these other platforms, Stealth Webinar, and none of them were working. So he built his own software. What I like about WebinarFuel is that once you get that video live, it really feels live for the people that are attending. And not just that, there's a chat that you can engage with. I have a virtual assistant that actually monitors the chat and replies in real time, so it feels even more live. And you can split test inside of WebinarFuel. You can set up emails. The best part is, if you're brand new to the automation process, if you're looking for an option right now, WebinarFuel, Anthony built an entire training academy in there that teaches people how to automate webinars, and it doesn't cost any extra. It's free when you go on a subscription. So I put the link to it below there. Now, what you have to do, this is going to be the hard part, is you're going to get this set up in replay, and sometimes that replay is going to work, and then you're going to set it up in WebinarFuel, and you're not going to get any sales. So now you've got to go back and start reviewing everything. You've got to look at how your emails are scripted. Are you potentially saying something you shouldn't in the email copy? Look at your videos and your ads. Look at your landing pages. You got to look for all those little tweaks, and you keep adjusting over and over and over again. Friends, to get to true automation with my first online workshop, it took me 2.5 years. I kept doing the workshop every week for 2.5 years. Why? Because I wanted revenue coming in. I created a value ladder so people could buy my other products and services. I was making millions of dollars a year before I ever got a webinar automated. So it doesn't have to hurt your business. You've just got to be committed to doing those workshops every week, and never just do it. Always be reviewing what happened in the past. How can I make it better? How can I adjust my language so it feels more generic but is still impactful? You keep asking yourself those questions and split testing through the process. It's really that simple. All right. If you want more than this, if this proved to you that I know what I'm talking about, but you want more information around that, you potentially want some help with it, then what you want to do is click on the link that you see below the video. It's called authorityfactor.info is the URL. Go watch that workshop. And at the end of the workshop, there is a program that I'm offering you for $250. It's like super cheap. It gives you access to all of the virtual training on how to do this. But you're going to get onto a coaching call with one of my salespeople. And if you want me to help you with automation or setting up your workshop or anything like that, just let the coaches know and they'll get us connected. And I'd love to help you on this journey. It took me years to get my first webinar automated, but it sure does create freedom in your life when you do it. We'll see you next time.